Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Everyone welcome. Allah's knowledge, Aleem, a divine attribute. This is the topic for today's talk. And these are some of the references which, if anyone is interested to know more about this, they can consult these. And this is our contact. Outline of the presentation. Context of the presentation. Allah's knowledge, a quote. Recap dua and outline through a schematic. Few worldly concepts of knowledge. Root of Aleem. Context in which to see Aleem. Knowledge hierarchy. Verses on various aspects of Aleem as a divine attribute. Manifesting this attribute in our life and conclusions. Context of today's presentation. I've quoted a verse here. I thought this should set the context because the Quran has directed us to get the knowledge of the book, that is the Quran. لَقَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ بَعَثَ فِيهِمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَإِنْ كَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلُ لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Allah did confer a great favor on Mu'mineen when He sent among them a messenger from among themselves, rehearsing unto them the signs of Allah, helping developing their selves and providing ilm to them in the book and its hikmat. Whilst before that they had been astray, were in search of guidance, because they have become Mu'mineen, which means that they were looking for guidance, so they have got the guidance, and now the question is how to improve their self-development. The Quran, the book, is from Allah, who has called Himself Aleem. We will examine some aspects of this divine attribute. Now over here I have quoted a phrase from the book, The Human Self and Allah, Allah's knowledge as being Aleem. If Allah is uninformed about the matters of His own creation, then what sort of Allah can He be? This is why the description of Allah's knowledge is given in great detail and with great emphasis in the Quran. And the reality is that the coordination and harmonization, organization and management of this system of the universe, which leaves intellects awestruck, can be done only by this being who has complete and full knowledge of everything, from a drop of water to the ocean, from a tiny particle to the sun. Such knowledge in which there is not an iota of guesswork or conjecture, speculation or doubt, sure knowledge and complete knowledge. Just as Allah's self is the most complete, in the same way His knowledge is also the completest. Now recap from dua. What I've done is, I thought this will be helpful if we just quickly go over it. And this is from our presentation last Sunday. First, a desire arises for guidance in life. We come to the Quran, we wish to be closer to God, and we read the verse 2:186. I've gone through, I have omitted a lot of steps in this direction. I thought it is just to go over it quickly. Verse 2:186, if we remember, points to the procedure. What it says is that when mankind asks you to get closer to Allah, and primarily it is addressed to Rasulullah, and now it is addressed to us. Iman acquired through a process which is given in that verse, directed to do saleh deeds. We accept willingly and begin doing this earnestly. Gain knowledge about the man-made systems based on non-deen values. And then gain maximum knowledge of the Quran. We apply it and gain more knowledge, discuss with those who are on this path, remove our differences, agree on permanent values and the need for the system of deen. And then this process continues without interruption. Our self-development progresses and we keep on evaluating it in the light of the Quranic criteria. So I stopped it here because that is where we are, and we continue. Some quotes on knowledge. What I thought was to share some of the quotations taken from Google, and these are very interesting. First is, everyone you will ever meet knows something you don't know. So that is interesting, that we should not dismiss the talking which is done by others. But of course, if we have plenty of time. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Another one is, if money is your hope for independence, you will never have it. The only real security that a man will have in this world is a reserve of knowledge, experience, and ability. And this was said by Henry Ford. Doubt is the key to knowledge. This I thought was very interesting, because Quran also, the second chapter starts with this, that this is the book which removes doubts. There is no wealth like knowledge and no poverty like ignorance. Knowledge is power. Knowledge shared is power multiplied. I thought this was quite interesting. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge. And this is another interesting one, that we should be able to verify our knowledge. Knowledge without wisdom is like water in the sand. It disappears. Power is gained by sharing knowledge, not hoarding it. So we should try to share whatever we learn with others. Knowledge is no guarantee of good behavior, but ignorance is a virtual guarantee of bad behavior. Always seek knowledge, and which means ask. Knowledge is like paint. It does no good unless it is applied. I thought that was quite humorous. Knowledge is power, power to do evil or power to do good. Power itself is not evil, so knowledge itself is not evil. Over here, there is a sort of unease with this kind of phrases, but we can discuss it in question answer session if we want. Knowledge and ignorance, few quotes to cheer us up. First one is, we live on an island surrounded by a sea of ignorance. As our island of knowledge grows, so does the shore of our ignorance. And this is quite interesting. If we use our imagination a bit, we can see that island of knowledge expanding, and its shore becomes bigger and bigger, and that means we have a lot more to learn. The larger the island of knowledge, the longer the shoreline of wonder. And this is a bit more positive. And over here, what I've done is I've quoted a verse from the Quran. Kullau kan al bahru midadan le kalimate rabbi la nafid al bahru qabla an tanfada kalimatu rabbi walau jena bimithlihi madada. Say, if the sea were ink for writing the words of my Rabb, sooner would the ocean be exhausted than would the words of my Rabb, even if we added another ocean like it for its aid. And if we look at another verse, which is Surah Al-Quran, verse 27, and the verse ends with Aziz and Hakim. Now let us look at the root of Aleem. And I've quoted it here: to know about something in detail, recognizing something, understand the reality, acquire certainty, feeling something, find out factually. So all these part of the root of ilm. The one who acquires knowledge in this way is called an alim or scholar. The plural of Aleem is ulama, i.e. those who possess profound and established knowledge. The fundamental meaning of this root is that sign which distinguishes something from another thing. The Arabs hold ilm more sacrosanct than awareness. This is why they use this word for knowledge of Allah and not for consciousness or awareness. So merely being aware of something is not knowledge. Knowledge is far more than that. Hence, Allah can be called Alim or Aleem. Wahi, the revelation, falls under knowledge, which is not the product of human intellect and reasoning. The Quran has declared hearing, observation, and the heart, which is called qalb, to be the means for the acquisition of ilm. At another place, intellect is also referred to as fawad. This thus includes ilm via both perceptual, that is through the senses, and conceptual knowledge, that is via concepts. But since ilm is knowledge when it reaches the level of certainty, hence the Quran has called wahi as ilm, and its antonym is ahwa, i.e. those self-created concepts or emotive beliefs of people for which they do not have any evidence or logic to support. This is the reason why the Quran places great emphasis on acquiring knowledge about the outer universe, as this ilm is based on reasoning, evidence, and proof. The invitation of the Quran towards its guidance is based on a rational approach based on evidence and reasoning. And this is taken from Lughatul Quran. I have added another part to it, root of Aleem, because there is a lot about it which is noted in Lughatul Quran. So we may like to revisit it. Some applications. The emphasis of the Quran on its proclamations is so firm that it refutes openly those who reject its message. Extreme rational thinking is demanded. Such a sign through which something can be recognized. Al-alam and alamatun. Signposts erected to recognize a path to or direction. National flag is also a sign. Alam with plural alameen is used for the universe and words respectively. The knowledge of the universe around us leads us towards Allah and serves as a sign. The Quran has often used alameen in terms of nations, for example, i.e. people existing in the same era. Also, different kinds of people are peoples of the whole world. Rabbul Alameen with reference to Rububiyat for the whole of humanity and also for the whole of the universe, context to be taken into account. So the context of Rabbul Alameen or Alameen used in the Quran, we have to look at it very carefully. Man bestowed with the ilm of characterization of the things of the universe, expression and writing skills are part of this process of learning. One ilm is that which Anbiya received from Allah as wahi, and the other ilm is that for which potential has been kept within all human beings. Whoever wishes can acquire it. The world needs to be looked at for the provision of opportunities, which have we created for these or not? And then the question is that have we created those opportunities for them or not? One thing we should keep it in mind is that the significance of ilm we already know, but today there's a lot more emphasis which will become very clear after the presentation is over. This difference needs to be kept in mind when studying the Quran. To bring these two aspects of ilm together, we need to come together and consult each other. Deen requires both within the Quranic value system. Context in which we need to see Aleem. Now, I have put down some points here which I thought have some relevance, and we can always add more to it. Man has been given choice and intent, and this essentially means he needs a world and a life in which he has ample opportunities to exercise his choice and its consequence, i.e. decision-making ability. That is, we have choice and intent, and we should be able to use it as widely as possible during our lifetime, our limited physical lifetime. The world so formed needs to have the ability to produce and manifest effects of human decision-making. There is no point in having choice and intent or not being able to practice it in our life. The physical human lifespan needs to be long enough so that he can do some experimentation and gain experience in a world created by man collectively within the knowledge that he has gained, and then decide where he wishes to end up in the hereafter. This is individual as well as collective, but as far as hereafter is concerned, we all know that it is an individual striving or individual self-development which decides for an individual where he or she ends up in the hereafter. There is enough information in his surroundings and within him to which man keeps adding with further study and research over time, to question his own existence and the existence of others by using his senses and perceptions, and to convert this data into something from which he can draw certain conclusions. So in today's world, we can see there is so much work going on in all fields, even without the guidance of the Quran. So human beings have tremendous potentials. Their intellect is really extremely powerful. Even without Quranic guidance, the human physical world and the world of his psyche has enough to explore to last his lifetime and never get fed up with it. Just see the number of books written so far in the world. I checked it and Googled it. There were 129 million books written, which were recorded as per Google in 2010. So now a lot more has been added. And of course, these include the books by Tolu Islam. Most are the product of pure human intellect for which potentials are kept within each one of us by Allah, because Allah is Aleem and Hakim. The exploration which will take place in the world of Deen has yet to come. A limited version of this model did wonders. We know it in the earlier era of Islam, how much work was done in that direction. Of course, later on, everything got contaminated. Just see the monumental work produced by Allama Pervez alone in this direction, and of course, Allama Iqbal. So how much one person can do, and we can see that what will be the shape of the world once the system of Deen is in place, which will be over and above the human intellect. Life is not meant to be cyclical, but instead is meant to be forward-moving, dynamic, and ever-evolving, and all this is implicit within the divine attribute of Aleem. It is about making this facet of the concept of Allah absolutely clear to us so that we can recognize it, understand it based on evidence, and then pursue the goal to becoming Aleem, inverted commas, within human limits at any point in time. Also to keep in mind this glad tiding that the that this becoming of Aleem within inverted commas is never going to stop at any time in our pursuit of development of the self or Sirat-e-Mustaqim. The path is straight, balanced, and eternally extends into the hereafter. Knowledge hierarchy. Over here, I've quoted a figure taken from a book. I'll give the details here. The knowledge, which the way human beings act is, first they have a content knowledge. If we can look around and through our own experience, we can confirm it. Access to information comes through facts, charts, graphs, figures, data, through our senses, etc. Then there is a procedural knowledge to make sense out of it, how of problem solving, procedures to make sense of content knowledge. And then the third stage is metacognitive knowledge, where we apply our intellect. If we remember, this aspect was covered under critical thinking as well. And I put down some points here. Now, what I've done over here is that this is the route for human knowledge develop higher and higher, which is human direction of effort to gain knowledge on his own. And this is without the guidance of Wahi. But when the guidance of Wahi comes into it, then we can see that it comes as a final knowledge, as a complete knowledge. And then what we do is we apply to the human knowledge. Wahi, the Quran, provides complete knowledge of the required guidance as one whole. We figure out through our efforts its further details and applications by coming together. The system of deen gets established. So this is just an idea for us that while vertically we go up, in the case of Wahi, it comes down and applies to whole of our life. Allah's knowledge encompasses everything. Over here, I'm going to share some verses on various aspects of Allah being Aleem, and we will see how it applies to our life. Wahuwa bikulli shayin Aleem, of all things he has complete knowledge. Huwa al-awwalu wal-akhiru wal-zahiru wal-batinu wahuwa bikulli shayin Aleem. He is the first and the last, the evident and the imminent, and he has full knowledge of all things. Wasi'a Rabbi kulla shayin ilman afala tatazakkarun. My Rabb comprehends in his knowledge all things. Do you not reflect? And over here we can see that Rabb has come, which means it is in relation to Rububiyyat, that all that we need for Rububiyyat, it is there. Points to note here, knowledge of all things related to this word is placed within the reach of mankind. And we have discussed it before as well. Dr. Hamid mentioned it. These are the secrets of Allah, inverted commas, need discovery and application in our life for the good of mankind with no exception. So we have to make an effort and strive for it. Verse 57:3 sets the bounds of human knowledge, the beginning to be explored. The end has two aspects. Firstly, related to this word, and then to the hereafter. Never to be content with the visible side of things. There is a lot more within the depths of the universe, purposely kept there for us to explore and thus bring out the best in our known and not yet known potentials. So when Allah says about awwalu wal akhiru, it does not mean that he is, of course, telling us about him and his being infinite, but it also, in my view, points to this fact that there is nothing out of bound to think about. So we can go right to the beginning of the universe, which mankind is already trying their best, and also to look where it is going to end up, both in terms of our creation as human beings and how we are going to pass on to the next life. All fields of science need to be continuously developed through intense reflection and research. And verse 680 points to dhikr. The world and the universe has been placed within the reach of the human intellect for gaining knowledge, and all is meant to be explored by man. The only limiting factor is own self-doubt and self-imposed limits by human beings, which means if I think that I cannot achieve it, then it is definitely that I'm not going to achieve it. So our job is to set a goal very high and then pursue it. These verses define the extent of the knowledge which we humans can acquire and apply. The system of deen will explore this side through emergent evolution. So in the system of deen, there will be a lot of pace and a lot of intensity and a lot of acceleration put into acquiring knowledge and then going far beyond where the human intellect had reached at that point in time. Nothing hidden from Allah. لَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكُمْ كِتَابًا فِيهِ ذِكْرُكُمْ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. I've quoted this verse from Surah Anbiya, verse 10, very famous. We have discussed it before as well, that Quran is for us. It contains everything about us. So it is zikrukum, it is our dhikr. So this is the context in which we should see all the divine attributes. Inna Allah la yakhfa alayhi shay'un fil ardi wala fis samai. From Allah verily nothing is hidden on earth or in the heavens. Qul anzalahu allazi ya'lamu sirra fis samawati wal ardi innahu kana ghafurun rahima. Say the Quran was sent down by him who knows that is in the heavens and the earth. Verily he is a Ghafur and Rahim. So we can achieve both of these aspects. That is, we can get the protection as well as the nourishment. وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا وَيَعْلَمُ مُسْتَقَرَّهَا وَمُسْتَوْدَعَهَا كُلٌّ فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. There is no moving creature on earth, but its risk depends on Allah. He knows the time and place of its definite abode and its temporary deposit. All is in a clear book. The important point over here is, which is actually very interesting as well, that Allah has provided all required risk for mankind for all times. But interesting over here is that it is a temporary abode. Our life over here, human life over here, physical life, which is roughly, let's say, about 100 years maximum, or around that. And then this stage will hand us over to the next stage, which is of the hereafter. So that is the important point over here. And we need to get as much information about our stay over here in this life and then try to look at what is coming. Kullun fi kitabim mubin, and everything is following laws. And this is supposed to be explored by us. If we are holding it back by thinking that, oh no, we don't know about it and we are not going to find out, then we will never find it out. Our job is to make an effort, and Quran does not put any restrictions on that. Now over here, what I've done is I have put a small schematic just out of interest. All these are long-haired scientists of the world, and this is the 21st century. And then if we convert it into deen, that will be our next stage, mustaqarraha wa mustawdaha. And then will be another one, and then will be another one, then will be another one. And then black box of nature, which includes physical world and human cognitive world. We need to keep opening it, but for that we need desire, effort, research, resolve, and persistence. So our job is that we do our best and then pass it on to next generation. Iman in Allah's knowledge affects human conduct. Correct Iman in the divine attributes specifically influences the practical life of man. For example, Allah is all-knowing. He knows everything. Even if all human beings accept Iman in this divine attribute, He will still be all-knowing and all-aware. He was even all-knowing and all-aware at that time when no human being existed. Hence, the Iman of a human being has no effect whatsoever on Allah's attributes. From this, it is his own life which is reformed. So that is an important point which we should remain focused. And I know on this platform, we are very focused on that. Whatever we do in the light of the Quran will benefit us. If it is a strong conviction of some individual that, leaving aside the tangible deeds of life, Allah is cognizant of even the inner intentions of his heart, and together with this, he also has Iman in this fact that no deed can remain without a consequence, then imagine to what extent his life will be under the obedience of the divine laws. If such an Iman, instead of being in a single individual, emerges in the heart of a Jamaat, and then moving forward from a Jamaat, the majority of mankind comes towards this, then this world, which today has become an absolute hell due to a dearth of this Iman, will transform into such a paradise in which there will be an environment of peace and tranquility from every direction. And I've taken it from Human Self and Allah, page 203. Allah is knower of all hidden and manifest deeds of human life. قُلْ إِن تُخْفُوا مَا فِي صُدُورِكُمْ أَوْ تُبْدُوهُ يَعْلَمْهُ اللَّهُ وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَاللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Say whether you hide what is in your hearts or reveal it, Allah knows it all. He knows what is in the heavens and what is on earth, and Allah has power over all things. The point over here is, Wallahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. There are precise scales for everything. If we see some randomness, then we should make an effort to find out those scales, and that is part of pursuing knowledge. Ma ala Rasool illa al-balagh wallahu ya'lamu ma tubduna wa ma taktumun. The messenger's duty is but to proclaim, that is Allah's message, but Allah knows all that you reveal and you conceal. I've given two different colors to this because the first one is our responsibility. That is, we have acquired whatever knowledge of the Quran we have acquired, we need to pass it on to others and also share it and think through it, because that is how our self develops. And second part is that there will still be something which will not be revealed to us right at the first stage, but as we go through this procedure, more and more will come to our notice. وَهُوَ اللَّهُ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَفِي الْأَرْضِ يَعْلَمُ سِرَّكُمْ وَجَهْرَكُمْ وَيَعْلَمُ مَا تَكْسِبُونَ. He is Allah in the heavens and on earth. He knows what you hide, what you reveal, and He knows that which you earn. And it is in reference to our deeds. So very important that we should be aware. In fact, a stage comes in our life, we know it, that as we become more aware of our own thoughts and deeds, we exactly know how our self is developing. These three verses require a profound reflection. First, scaling and precision is everywhere. If we don't see it, we should make an effort to find it out. If we can't see it, make an effort to detect it and learn its modus operandi, that how does this scaling aspect works in human life. In physical life, we know there are very precise scales. For example, in the manufacturing of cars, we can see that. Secondly, passing the message on is our responsibility and getting organized when we come together. Thirdly, we are here to make use of the heavens and the earth, not to lay ownership over them. So that is the important thing, that we shouldn't hold on to that, because holding on to that contaminates our minds. Our self defines us, and what we do with this self through our deeds, that is where we need to remain focused and interested. And we should avoid distractions. This is important because وَيَعْلَمُ مَا تَكْسِبُونَ, that we are fully aware what exactly we are doing in our life on a day-to-day basis. Self-deception not possible, hypocrisy cannot remain unnoticed. أَوَلَا يَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَعْلَمُ مَا يُسِرُّونَ وَمَا يُعْلِنُونَ. Know they not that Allah knows what they conceal and what they reveal. And this is important, that wherever Allah says that He knows it, that means we should also make an effort to know all those aspects which are related to our human world. يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَاتَ الْأَعْيُنِ وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورُ. Allah knows of the tricks that deceive with the eyes and all that the hearts conceal. So there is a physical side of it and there is a cognitive side of it. This verse is very interesting. Alam tara anna Allah ya'lamu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ardi ma yakunu min najwa salasati illa huwa rabi'uhum wala khamsatin illa huwa sadisuhum wala adna min zalika wala aksara illa huwa ma'hum aina ma kanu summa yunabbi'uhum bima amilu yawm al-qiyamati inna Allah bikulli shay'in alim. See you not that Allah knows all that is in the heavens and on earth, and His knowledge so precise that there is not a secret consultation between three, but He makes the fourth among them, nor between five, but He makes the sixth, nor between fewer nor more, but He is with them. So Allah knows exactly what goes on in the human world whenever we make consultation, when we have thoughts arising in our mind, and Allah knows about them. Wheresoever they be, in the end will He tell them the truth of their conduct. So the system is so precise that everything gets noticed on the day of judgment. For Allah has full knowledge of all things. Now I have added some notes here. Human beings are a complex creation with emotions, desires, intellect, and the ability to hide intentions. I might have missed some other points as well. Each of these areas has numerous facets. Hence, each one of us displays these combinations in various situations in our daily living. Verse 59:7 points to an important fact. Allah has given us total freedom to make our choices in our life, and even if He knows these choices, He has made this decision not to interfere in this choice. And these kind of doubts arise in our heart that so much wrong goes on in the world. Why does Allah not interfere? And we can understand that Allah Himself has explained it, that He is not going to interfere. Each of our choices has the potential to live its full life so that we get what we aimed for. And this is important. Each of our choices has the potential to live its full life so that we get what we aimed for. So if we are doing something wrong and we think that I'm getting away with that because Allah has not interfered and I'm becoming very successful, then we should pause, reflect, and think about it, because everything is getting accounted for. Knowledge of past and future. يَعْلَمُ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمَا خَلْفَهُمْ وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنْ عِلْمِهِ إِلَّا بِمَا شَاءَ. He knows what appears to his creatures as before or after or behind them, nor shall they compass aught of his knowledge except as per his mashiyat. Which means that whatever knowledge we are gaining, it is meant to be gained by us. وَلَقَدْ عَلِمْنَا الْمُسْتَقْدِمِينَ مِنْكُمْ وَلَقَدْ عَلِمْنَا الْمُسْتَأْخِرِينَ. To us are known those of you who hasten forward and those who lag behind. So everything is taken care of and is accounted for. Alimul ghaibi wa shahadate wa huwal hakimul khabir. He knows the unseen as well as that which is manifest, for he is Hakim and Khabir. There's a lot here for us to learn and become conscious of. These are various facets of becoming Aleem which we need to acquire. These will become part of the educational system of Deen. I thought there are a number of points here, like in the first one is about what is going on, and we are supposed to know it, what we have left behind and what we are sending forward. And second is that Quran over here puts emphasis on that we should gain knowledge of the past as well as the present and also what is coming next. And not only at individual level, at collective level, and of course on a universal level. And over here, Alim al-Ghaib is the unknown. We should try to get as much information about the unknown and what manifests, and what manifests, again, it has hidden part of it, what it implies. And then is Hakim and Khabir. These both are divine attributes as well. Knowledge of the unseen is only for Allah. وَيَقُولُونَ لَوْلَا أُنزِلَ عَلَيْهِ آيَاتٌ مِّن رَبِّهِ فَقُلْ إِنَّمَا الْغَيْبُ لِلَّهِ فَانْتَظِرُوا إِنِّي مَعَكُم مِّنَ الْمُنْتَظِرِينَ. A very important aspect is noted in this verse. They say, why is not a sign sent down to him from his Rabb? Say the unseen is only for Allah, then wait you, I too will wait with you. Because Quran says that its reality, its truth, its haqq will manifest to you once you learn the value system and then follow it. And then the results will start manifesting themselves before you, individually as well as collectively. Because our deeds take time to manifest their results, hence that becomes a part of unseen. And that is why Quran says, Innamal ghaibu lillahi. So at that point, only Allah knows, because he knows the secrets of human hearts, but we have to figure it out through our own experience. That is called Tawilul Ahadith. Qul la ya'lamu man fis samawati wal ardil ghaiba illallah. Say none in the heavens or on earth except Allah knows what is hidden. Yasalunaka anis saate ayyana mursaha. Qul innama ilmuha inda rabbi la yujalliha liwaqtiha illa huwa. Sakulat fis samawati wal ardi la ta'tikum illa baghtatan yasalunaka ka'annaka hafiyun anha. Qul innama ilmuha inda Allahi walakin aksaran nasi la ya'lamun. A very long verse. They ask you about the hour, when will be its appointed time. This is something which people will ask who confront, when they are confronted with the Quran, that okay, go and bring your punishment on us. Say the knowledge thereof is with my Rabb. None but he can reveal as to when it will occur. Heavy were its burden through the heavens and the earth, only all of a sudden will it come to you. They ask you as if you were eager in search thereof. So they think also that people who are passing on the message, that they are also interested that their destruction should arrive quickly. That is not the point here. The Quran over here says that you keep making your efforts. Like over here, Quran says, "Fantaziru inni ma'akum minal muntazirin." So we need to keep that in our mind, that all collective deeds take time to manifest their results. The knowledge thereof is with Allah, most mankind know not. And walakinna aksaran nas la ya'lamun means that if we make an effort, we can have a fairly good knowledge, we can gain that which way the word is heading. Deeds take time to manifest their effects. Hence, only Allah knows about the timing of the appearance of the cumulative effect. However, we can have some understanding of the direction which events in life move. Wahi is related to the unseen. Zalika min ambail gaibe nuhihe ilaika. This is part of the tidings of the things unseen which we reveal unto you. Nahnu nakussu alaika ahsanal qasasi bima awhayna ilaika hazal Qur'ana wa in kunta min qablihi laminal ghafilin. We do relate to you the balanced accounts in that we reveal to you this Quran. Before this, you too were among those who knew not. So when we know it that when we study the Quran, there are a lot of aspects of ordinary events of life which human beings don't look at, and we can only look at them when we see them through the Quranic value system. And this aspect will become even more clear as we will go through the verses and see that how things, the Quran has pointed to many aspects of human cognitive aspects where ordinary human can never ever reach there. And that is an important aspect of what is noted over here, that what is given in the Quran, it might look as if these are the stories from the past. They are not the stories from the past. If we look at them very closely, a lot of knowledge is hidden there or is implied there, which we need to look at and apply it to the world in which we live. Tilka min ambail ghaibi nuhiha ilaika ma kunta ta'lamuha anta wala qaumuka min qabli haza fasbir innal aqibatul lil muttaqin. Such are some of the accounts of the unseen which we have revealed unto you. So these are the aspects which are revealed in the Quran from the past, and to Rasulullah, they served as guidance for establishing that system at that time. And they are again guidance for us in today's life, because basic human beings are the same. Whatever technology advancement we might have, the human being hasn't changed. It's the same human being who lived right at the beginning of time and today. Because it would have been injustice if the human being had changed and his intellect had changed. For the end is for those who are muttaqeen. So this is a very interesting verse over here. Why it points to that wahi is related to the unseen. There is no doubt in that. Ambail gaibe. But over here is innal aqibatan lil muttaqeen, that it is the whole system is geared to this, that those who become mu'mineen and muttaqeen and muhsineen and all those characters which Quran has pointed of mu'mineen, they are the ones to which the whole system is geared. So wahi is primarily pointing to us, those who have come on this path, that you should never give up and continue your efforts in this direction. Wahi puts before us the ultimate reality of an event, an incident which is needed to be applied to our life's events individually as well as collectively. So that is important point here. This eliminates the possibility of stating, in my opinion. So when we are talking within the Quran, then we should be very clear that what is my opinion and what is my opinion within the Quran. So wherever it is within the Quran, we should quote a verse and then say this is according to this. Of course, then we let others know that in case our understanding is different from theirs. We learn to say this, what the Quran says, and then quote a related value. We develop firm iman that the results of our solid deeds will manifest. This growth takes place based on evidence. So it is not becoming muttaqeen that we don't know that we are becoming muttaqeen. The change which comes within us, and of course by coming together, that points to us that our path is right. False gods have no knowledge of the unseen. وَيَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ مَا لَا يَضُرُّهُمْ وَلَا يَنْفَعُهُمْ وَيَقُولُونَ هَؤُلَاءِ شُفَعَاؤُنَا عِندَ اللَّهِ قُلْ أَتُنَبِّئُونَ اللَّهَ بِمَا لَا يَعْلَمُ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَلَا فِي الْأَرْضِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى عَمَّا يُشْرِكُونَ. They serve besides Allah things that hurt them not, nor profit them. And they say, these are our intercessors with Allah. So people, even those who come towards the Quran at times, they are not as focused as the Quran is asking us to be focused. Say, do you indeed inform Allah of something He knows not in the heavens and on earth, accomplisher of His Mashiach and supreme, far above the shirk which they ascribe. So Quran has pointed to this fact that we should be very careful. If we want to achieve maximum benefit from the Quran, then we have to become Aleem about all these things, that we should acquire this knowledge. And obviously, this is a knowledge which we need to discuss by coming together. One man's efforts can become multiplied. As somebody said, that the knowledge, when it is shared, it becomes multiplied. قُلْ لَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ الْغَيْبَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ أَيَّانَ يُبْعَثُونَ. Say, none in the heavens and the earth except Allah knows what is hidden, nor can they perceive when they shall be raised up. Part of our becoming Aleem is to know the fundamentals of the human self and its proclivity to contamination from attraction to gods other than Tawheed. So we should be very, very careful. And we remember there was a presentation on psychological idol worshipping in which a number of points were covered. Both aspects are noted here, i.e., if we are in a state of shirk, then we need to treat it ASAP. And once we are out of it, then to become aware of not reverting to it. So this is important, that if we think that at some point in time, we have resorted to some kind of mixing up our consciousness with other than Allah, then we should try to seek help from the Quran and even discuss it. Bearing our hereafter in mind is an essential part of this journey of life. Meaning of le nalama. Some of these terms are used in the Quran, and I took it from the human self and Allah. For further details, it will help if we can go through it from the book. وَمَا كَانَ لَهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ إِلَّا لِنَعْلَمَ مَنْ يُؤْمِنُ بِالْآخِرَةِ مِمَّنْ هُوَ مِنْهَا فِي شَكٍّ وَرَبُّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ حَفِيظٌ. But he, and over here is Iblis addressed, and had no authority over them. That Iblis has no authority on them, except that we might know the man who has iman in the hereafter from him who is in doubt concerning it. We know Iblis and Shaitan are human desires and emotions which misguide him. And as a result, what Quran says over here is that the Quran has come to provide guidance so that we don't go astray. And we know that in what direction we are heading. And your Rabb watches over all things. Rabbuka ala kulli shay'in hafiz, which means that, and word Rabb has, the attribute of Rabb has appeared over here. So this will form important part of the system of Rububiyat, where education will be given in these aspects so that we can check the state of self-development ourselves. In yamsaskum karhun faqad massal qauma karhun mithlahu wa tilka layamu nudawiluha bainan nase wale ya'lamallahu lazina amanu wa yattakhiza minkum shuhada'a wallahu la yuhibbuz zalimin. So there is another aspect over here which is covered. If a wound touch you, be sure a similar wound has touched the others. So this is something which we should keep it in mind, that all of us human beings, whether we have come to the Quran or not come to the Quran, we go through some kind of trials and tribulations in this life. And trials and tribulations are more severe when the system is based on the human intellect alone. Such days we give among men by turns, that Allah may know those who have iman, and that he may take to himself you as witnesses. And Allah, that is his system, accepts not those who are zalimeen. So the point over here is that what we see around in the world, there will always be challenges. Even under the system of Deen, there will be enough challenges, because human beings will confront each other, and we will still have those who will not follow the Quran from the core of their heart. So these things are part of our self-development, because self develops when it is challenged. Am hasibtum an tutriku walamma ya'lamillahu allazina jahadu minkum walam yattakhizu min dunillahi wala rasulihi walal mu'minina walijata wallahu khabirum bima ta'malun. Or think you that you shall be abandoned, as though Allah did not know those among you who strive with might and main, and take none for friends and protectors except Allah, his messenger and mu'mineen. But Allah is well acquainted with all that you do. The important point over here is that once we come into this path, we should not feel abandoned, and we should not feel as if we will be left at the mercy of those who do not follow the Quran. It doesn't happen like that. And this point will become clearer once we come to this aspect. So over here is that we should know in the light of the Quran where we are heading for, where we are on Sirat al-Mustaqim, and then keep making efforts together. Omniscient, all-knowing, all-seeing, and all-hearing. Qala Rabbi ya'lamul qawla fis samai wal ardi wa huwa as-sami'ul alim. Say, my Rabb knows every word spoken in the heavens and the earth. He is the one that hears and knows. Wallahu bima ta'maluna khabir, and Allah is well acquainted with what you do. Wa huwa ma'akum aina ma kuntum wallahu bima ta'maluna basir. And he is with you wheresoever you may be, and Allah sees well all that you do. We have gone through these verses before as well. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. It was we who created man, so he knows everything, and we know what suggestions his self makes to him, for we are nearer to him than jugular vein. So it should never cross our mind that all of us who have come to the Quran, that Allah does not know it. Allah knows everything, and we should with full confidence know in our heart that he knows my intentions, he knows my thoughts, he knows my desires, he knows my emotions and everything. And that is very important for us to get strength from the Quran. Acquiring an extremely high sense of awareness in our cognitive life keeps us on Sirat al-Mustaqim. The law of requital. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرٍ يَرَهُ. Then shall anyone who has done an atom's weight of good witness it. وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرٍّ يَرَهُ. And anyone who has done an atom's weight of evil shall witness it. وَخَلَقَ اللَّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ وَلِتُجْزَى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. This particular verse we have gone through numerous times. And Allah created the heavens and the earth as al-haq, so that each self may find the recompense of what it has earned. This is important here. Kasabat. We should not keep our thoughts to ourselves. These should manifest in our deeds in the outer world. If we are convinced of the Quran, then we should make an effort to pass it on to others, and none of them be treated with zulm. And zulm, we know it is injustice. If something has to be at a place and it is moved from there, that means it is zulm. Witnessing this aspect of self's highly increased awareness and the changes taking place within us is part of this process of Allah's being Aleem, and as a consequence, we manifest this knowledge within our psyche. An important aspect is that we check this inner state of development of ourself using the signposting of the Quran and never resort to self-justification. Develop a habit of checking with the Quran all the time. Because if we do not check it all the time, then what we are doing is then we will get distracted. We can become tempted by our desires and can start doing things which are not in line with Sirat al-Mustaqim. So that is important, that we should be all the time aware of the law of requital and use it to our advantage. That is, do those deeds which have multiplied effect rather than doing those deeds which pull us down. So that is the important point over here. It is not my opinion or others' opinion. It is about the Quranic opinion which decides whether our thoughts and actions in life are right or wrong. So if we continuously use the values of the Quran to guide ourselves, then we keep getting more and more practice. Manifesting the attribute of Aleem. Now, over here, I put down some points which were really my thinking and my understanding and my own education and whatever the level of understanding I have. And we can always add more to it. So if anyone, any member finds it out, then please let me know and we can always revisit it. Acquiring as much knowledge about the world in which we live, about its functioning, problems and solutions as this is needed to convince ourselves about the importance and need for the system of Deen. It is also essential to understand the Quranic verses which deal with the problems created by human intellect. Next point is we need to learn the interpretation of events in the light of the permanent values of the Quran, just like Hazrat Yusuf and other messengers, from the available evidence, and this should be practiced by coming together. The Quran refers to collective discussion and decision making in a number of verses. We avoid saying anything about which we are not completely sure, because it is about educating ourselves and then manifesting that interpretation of knowledge and sharing it with others. We should be always very precise. If we are not sure, it is better to keep quiet. It is better not to say that. But if we are saying that, then we should say that I'm not sure, but this is what my opinion is at this point in time. For example, facts, evidence, confirmation, verification, etc. Once we are on the path of the Quran, our words and conduct carry weight and have a far higher significance. This is important, that all of us who are claiming or who are saying that we are on this path, then we have to be very precise. And others take it that way. It has happened with me that if I'm not precise and I made a mistake, then I will be misguiding others, because others will think that so-and-so is very accurate and what he says is always based on fact. And if it is not based on fact, that is wrong, because then I will end up degrading myself. We need to remain fully cognizant of our thoughts and emotive state. With continuous self-awareness and reminding by others, we learn it fairly quickly. Being aware of the functioning of the law of requital is an absolute must. Deen needs a well-informed and learned Jamaat of Mu'mineen who have acquired firm resolve in all aspects of the permanent values and manifestation of the divine attributes is part of this process. It's a tough job. It's not easy. We have seen it that so many presentations we have shared together, and with each, our knowledge becomes better and better. And if we keep practicing it, a new self has already emerged, but it will become very strong, very strengthened, very firm, very steadfast. All these are acquired traits, and through step-by-step elevation and understanding, through intense questioning and practice, we enable ourselves to display this understanding in our knowledge. Acquiring data and statistics wherever required and needed is part of this manifestation of becoming Aleem. Knowledge is power only when its facts are right, and there is a force of conviction behind it. To be able to differentiate between Hizbul Shaitan and Hizbullah using the Quranic criteria. See, how Quran helps us. We know that most of the mankind at this point in time is following their desires. So if we put a percent on that, that means the Quran has made our life very easy by making this statement a differentiation between the two categories. And as a result, we should be very clear where we stand and where rest of the world stands. And that is how we should view, and that is how we should try to pass on the message to others, and telling them that there is far more to life than the way they are living their life. We learn to express any opinion by reference to the Quran. We should always refer to the Quran. And if somewhere we are not sure, we should go back and consult it as a reference book. Learn to quote from the Quran. We should clarify our opinion if it is expressed without any reference from the Quran, and let others know about it, that it is our opinion based on this. Not say that this is what I think, because if I say something, I should be very clear, say that this is my opinion, not based on the Quran. This is a very high level of discernment which prepares us for the system of Deen. Because system of Deen will require extreme precision and accuracy on our part. So we cannot afford to make mistakes, and others will see us as well, that this person or this Jamaat always goes back to the Quran and consults it. So if they are going to win an argument with us, they will have to go to the Quran and consult it, because they know that we are firmly on the Quran. Conclusions. Since Quran is about the dhikr of man, and in this relation is also dhikr of Allah, hence knowing this in detail is part of understanding Aleem as a divine attribute. Whatever is given in the Quran with reference to Allah being Aleem is for help in developing the human self, and we need to keep this focus in mind all the time. The system of Deen needs us to be extremely knowledgeable, and this is not possible for one human being to acquire it. Hence the need for coming together and learning about the world around us as much as possible, and then thinking beyond this world towards the system of Deen. Since human life is going to go into the life of the hereafter, hence it is a need of the human intellect and consciousness to keep learning and discovering. This divine attribute points to this fact that the extent of human learning can never end, as the extent of Allah's knowledge is infinite. And man has the potential to learn more and more if we develop that desire and motivation within us. So if we want to share or find out what is going to be in the hereafter, then we should have a desire and motivation right here. So when we leave this world, we should be at a very high level of becoming Aleem ourselves. Human concerted efforts based on accurate knowledge lead to results in this life. And with that, we come to the end of this presentation. And thanks for your time and attention.